Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 248 based on novel. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nine-tiered spiritual palace. The Soul Eater also slowly scolded, and then he couldn't help but speak. The spirit palace is divided into 9 layers, and each layer corresponds to the 9 levels of soul power in the Fairyland. But to the Lord of Soul Eater's surprise, it was the first time that he condensed 9 layers. The Lord of Soul Eater can be said to be a peerless genius in the entire Soul Eater domain, but even a genius like him only condensed 8 layers of spiritual palaces at the beginning. The number of layers of the spiritual palace where the soul of the Fairyland is condensed will undoubtedly limit the limit that his soul power can reach in the future. Although the Lord of Soul Eater originally condensed the 8-layered spiritual palace, no matter what, he couldn't take that last step, and he couldn't even set foot in the spiritual travel realm. And at this moment, Xiao Yan actually sketched out the 9th floor spiritual palace, which undoubtedly proves that this guy's potential in the future will be even more terrifying than himself. Xiao Yan had just finished condensing the 9th floor of the spiritual palace, when 2 strands of soul power suddenly poured into the spiritual palace, filling the first floor of the spiritual palace in a short time. The 9th floor of the spirit palace is impressively symbolic of the 9 levels of the Fairyland soul, and Xiao Yang's first floor is so dazzling now, which is impressive proof that this guy has not only broken through the Fairyland soul, but has even reached the early peak of the Fairyland virtual level. This can make the Lord of Soul Eater feel ashamed. Who? After a while, Xiao Yang sat on the ground with his buttocks on his back, gasping for breath. Obviously, the seemingly simple action just now consumed too much of Xiao Yang's soul power. Wonderland's early peak of the void level, not bad. And the Lord of Soul Eater also laughed at this time. Hee hee. Hearing this, Xiao Yang also smiled happily. Now that his soul power has reached the Fairyland, his own pharmacist and other ranks have also broken through the fairy rank naturally, and the rest is only a matter of time and medicinal materials. The soul of the Fairyland, the alchemist of the fairy rank, if any of these identities are released, I am afraid that it will attract the tyrannical forces. Okay. You need to adjust your breath first, there are some private matters to deal with. And your ground dragon blood crystal body forging technique and the devouring of the fighting soul also need to be in the right place to get twice the result with half the effort. After the master of Soul Eater finished speaking, he looked at the bottom layer of Icefire Island. Yes. Hearing this, Xiao Yang suppressed the joy in his heart, and then slowly recovered his fighting spirit and soul strength. The 3rd floor of Ice and Fire Island. Grumbling. No, you must go and see what the guy on the 8th floor is up to. Only the guy with the power of Holy Flame can relieve my pain. Even if he pays any price, the deity is willing. After all, this kind of inhuman pain is too torturous. The villain on the 3rd floor slowly said a word. This 3rd floor was different from what Xiao Yang had encountered before. The place where the wicked were imprisoned was a huge mountain range. In the caves at the top of the mountain range, the sound of chains resounded, and then a black gas slowly penetrated. After passing the 3rd floor, he quickly moved towards the space where Xiao Yang was on the 8th floor. What? And the wicked people on the 3rd floor were sealed and imprisoned, so naturally they couldn't leave easily, but at their level, they could naturally disperse a bit of strength to leave their bodies, so as to go to the 8th floor instead of themselves to find out. At best, it will still pass through the guardian space of each floor. The black energy released by the 3rd layer wicked just passed through the 3rd layer guardian space, and was immediately discovered by the 3rd layer guardian. The guardian space on the 3rd floor is 1,000 incomparably vast sea of flowers. In the sea of flowers, the fragrance is fragrant, and all kinds of flowers are budding, but the seemingly harmless flowers are filled with a deadly threat. Earth Monkey, don't waste your time. In the 3rd layer guardian space, a rather soft voice sounded slowly, and then a silver beam of light directly wrapped around the black. However, after the silver light wrapped around the black chi, the aura above the black chi suddenly became weak. Golden Feather and by Candy, don't go too far. And so weakened by the silver light, the dying ape's black gas couldn't help roaring. Humph. This 3rd floor is under the jurisdiction of this king, how can you be arrogant? Jin Yu by Chandai did not show up, but a pleasant voice kept echoing in the sea of flowers. If it weren't for the deity being trapped by the seal and unable to come, I'm afraid you would have already fallen into my hands. The voice of the Earth Monkey came from the black air. Earth Monkey, if it weren't for your power of fighting spirit, I'm afraid your human body would have been sealed and wiped out. Jin Yu by Chandai said slightly. In that case. Crash. The next moment, above the black air, a phantom of a giant appeared, and then suddenly ran away from the third-layer guardian space. Where are you running? Seeing this, Jin Yu Bai Chan Dai still didn't show up, but with a random blow, the black chi was about to dissipate. It was a miscalculation, but he still managed to run out a little bit of strength. It seems that something happened to the three-eyed ghost pupil on the 8th floor. It's just that I don't know if the aura of holy flame that just appeared is true or false. A grudge slowly came out, and then the voice of the golden feather and Bai Candy became quiet, and the 3rd floor became calm again. At their level, it is hard to have anything to motivate them. All they need to do is meditate and cultivate, trying to reach the top of the peak. But as the 3rd floor regained its calm, so did the 2nd floor. Dark Demon, what do you want to do? In the guardian space on the 2nd floor, a giant figure suddenly stood up, and then shouted at the evil aura in front of him. Blue-eyed Huan Lin Jiao, you and I have been fighting here for thousands of years. What do you mean? I noticed today that someone entered the Ice and Fire Island, and the aura of the human being has a lot of familiarity with me. The wicked aura on the 2nd floor said slowly. You belong to human beings, but your heart is dark, even I am not ashamed of you. If you want to leave my guardian space, you can just defeat me. Ching-eyed Phantom Lin Jiao didn't talk nonsense with the dark demon directly. At this time, this 2nd-layer guardian space is a huge mountain that stands tall. The mountain is independent of the sky. A huge dragon with silver unicorn pieces on its body is looking down and staring fiercely. Facing the black air mass in front of him. The Jiaolong's name is Qingyang Huanlin Jiao, and it is also a notorious existence in the soul beast realm. Even this Jiaolong exudes a sacred aura of cyan. In that pupil, there is an extremely deep cyan that slowly exudes estimates. If something happens today, I won't accompany you to play. And the dark demons also know that this method of dispersing the breath of the main body is a lot of consumption for their wicked, not to mention the power scattered from the main body. How could it be Guardian's opponent? Break me. The next moment, the dark demon's voice slowly emanated from the black air mass. Boom boom boom. This sudden explosion caused a tinge of disgust in the azure pupils of the azure phantom Lin Jiao, and then the Jiao tail suddenly stepped on and left the mountain. It's not that the blue-eyed magic Lin Jiao is afraid, but this extremely evil fluctuation makes the blue-eyed magic Lin Jiao quite annoying. Hey, that's very good. Seeing the evil aura emanating from the explosion stunned the blue-eyed phantom Lin Jiao away, the dark demon laughed, but the blue-eyes phantom Lin Jiao didn't find it, and there was a very weak breath at the center of the explosion. Slowly towards the outer layer of the Ice and Fire Island. At this moment, the evil spirits on the 2nd and 3rd floors all had their own purposes and went towards the 8th floor where Xiao Yang was, but the 1st floor of Icefire Island was surprisingly quiet. It's almost there. It didn't take long for Xiao Yang's soul power and vindictive energy to recover. At that time, Xiao Yang slowly got up and said to the Soul Eater, "Well, not bad." The Soul Eater heard the words, but smiled slowly. However, when the Soul Eater Lord made such a weird laugh, Xiao Yang had a bad feeling. Someone is here, get ready. The next moment, the Master of Soul Eater stared at the entrance of the 8th floor, and said directly without going out. Someone is here. After being said by Soul Eater Master, Xiao Yang suddenly felt that there were two extremely terrifying auras that were rapidly approaching here. Even one of them actually caused a rather restless uneasiness in the holy flames on his body. Alien evil race. There is no doubt that, with the power of Xiao Yang's Fairyland soul at this time, among the two auras, there is one that belongs to the evil race outside the realm. Senior, isn't this Ice and Fire Island imprisoning wicked people? How can there be evil races from outside the territory? Xiao Yang was a little puzzled, and said slowly, Icefire Island is indeed a place where wicked people are imprisoned, but as for why that guy has the aura of the aliens, I am afraid he is willing, or he is controlled by the aliens, just like the blood demons in your Shen 3 days. The Lord of Soul Eater said. I don't know what the overall strength of this extraterritorial evil clan is, and it seems that since the last battle of the Great Thousand Worlds, they have hidden aura and disappeared. Xiao Yang shook his head and said, Hey, little guy, try your best to cultivate, let's not talk about the foreign evil clan, just your Xiao clan. I am afraid you need extremely tyrannical power, so that you can have the right to know the truth. As for the aliens, their overall strength is much stronger than our Dakian world. As for the fact that they have been too quiet for these years without any news of them, I'm afraid they are secretly planning something. When the next world war comes, I am afraid that the entire Dakian world will become lifeless again. The Lord of Soul Eater shook his head and said. At the moment when the two were talking, at the entrance of the Guardian space on the 8th floor, two groups of black auras slowly came here one after the other. So strong. 2 black strands just poured into the guardian space on the 8th floor, and Xiao Yang suddenly forcibly endured the tyrannical pressure and said slowly, "The ape of the earth, it's just right." Among the 2 black chi, the later black chi slowly opened its mouth. This black chi is the wicked person on the 2nd floor, the aura of a dark demon. Humph, dark demons, each other. The other group of black air snorted coldly and spoke directly, so that the dark air couldn't help shaking because of the dark demon's breath. Although they are only the gap between the 2nd layer and the 3rd layer, but the difference in strength is not small, and the dark devil will be imprisoned on the Icefire Island, because this guy is a human, but he is invested in the foreign evil race. Among the forces, he was arrested and imprisoned here by the great power of Li Huanyu. You're still like this. The dark demon didn't bother to talk nonsense with the Earth Ape. After all, the Earth Ape's predecessor was a human, and its strength was not very good. If it weren't for the protection of the Soul Earth Ape, I'm afraid it would have fallen under the seal. Why are you here? The Earth Ape naturally said directly, not afraid of the dark demon. This guy, I have to take it away. The dark demon heard the words, and his attention in the black gas slowly turned to Xiao Yang. Being stared at by this dark demon's power, even Xiao Yang was in a cold sweat. You don't have to think about it to know that the strength of the 2 guys in front of you is too strong. Take him away. Why? When the Earth Ape heard the words, he exuded a violent aura, obviously dissatisfied with the words of the dark demon. I know that you have the blessing of fighting Soul Earth Monkey. I am not your opponent in this state, but don't forget who my master is. Don't say it's your mere Earth Ape, or even the master of Li Soul Domain. I'm afraid I wouldn't dare to be disrespectful to my master. The dark demon exclaimed slowly. Humph. It's just a demon of darkness, but you're just a human traitor, a lackey of an alien race. Today, whether it's public or private, I won't let you take this guy away. The Earth Monkey said slowly, his voice full of majesty. Earth Ape, can't you find death? When the Earth Ape said this, the dark demon couldn't help roaring angrily. Xiao Yang clearly possesses the holy flame in his body, and as believers of the foreign evil clan, their purpose is naturally to find the holy flame, so as to send the news of the holy flame back to the foreign evil clan, so that the power of the foreign evil clan can take action and bring the holy flame back to the foreign evil clan. Yang completely suppressed, or laid the foundation for the next world war. It's just a waste. The Earth Ape Zaidu said, and then slowly stared at the dark demon's black energy. Once this guy showed any signs of making a move, he would do it without hesitation. After all, no matter what, this dark demon is just a chess piece under the dark demon. Although he needs the power of holy flame to get rid of his bondage, as a human being in the world, he will not helplessly watch holy flame fall. The claws of the alien race. Junior thanked the senior. Xiao Yang resisted the pressure released by the 2 powerhouses, and then cupped his hands and said to the black air of the Earth Monkey. At first, Xiao Yang was really confused, but at this moment, he also understood the purpose of these 2 guys. It's too early to say thank you now. This guy is very strong. He has been gifted since childhood. In addition to the evil power given to him by the dark demon, even I can't match him. The Earth Monkey said slightly to Xiao Yang. It's troublesome now. Xiao Yang couldn't help but look awkward since this dark demon is loyal to the demon of darkness. It must not be easy. The devil of light and darkness. It's really an old rival. The next moment, the always calm Soul Eater Lord suddenly activated the Soul Eater Talisman. Immediately, a mysterious force that devoured all souls slowly spread in all directions with a special law. And with the master of Soul Eater doing this, the wicked person imprisoned in the 1st floor at the lowest part of Icefire Island, whose original lifeless appearance, suddenly opened his pupils suddenly, and then an incomparably tyrannical soul force suddenly rushed out. The place of imprisonment, towards the 8th floor. Hunyuzi, what are you doing? And just as the tyrannical soul force suddenly left the place of imprisonment and rushed towards the 8th floor, passing through the guardian space on the 1st floor, a dragon resounded through the heavens and the earth. Roar, suddenly exuded. Go away for Ben Immortal. Lord, is it really your breath? And the soul power emanating from the captivity on the 1st floor, with a roar, instantly shattered the guardian's obstruction, and then moved towards the 8th floor. This lunatic, such a tyrannical seal, actually broke through. He was shaken back by a roar, and the dragon's roar disappeared, but it left an indelible shock in his heart. What is this? The Dark Devil's black aura was not only filled with ghost energy, but also an extremely evil aura, which was devoured by waves of soul-devouring talismans generated by the Soul Eater Lord. The power of the man felt fearful, and it turned out to make the dark demons feel vaguely uneasy. You must know that his dark demon is a believer under the Dark Demon Lord, and his strength has reached the level of a 4-star fighting immortal, but even so, he felt a fear of death on the illusory figure in front of him. Not good. Run. At the next moment, the dark demon didn't dare to stay, he just slid away and disappeared. He knew that if he didn't run away, I'm afraid this trace of power would be instantly submerged in the suction of the Soul Eater talisman. Down. On the second floor of Icefire Island, in the dark space where the dark demon was imprisoned, the dark demon's soul power gradually returned to the body, and then his face was extremely ugly, and he couldn't help but said, "The fluctuation just now is the highest." Are you? What can make him feel uneasy with the strength of the 4-star fighting immortal level? I am afraid that only the 3 words of the highest can be used to describe it. After all, the dark demons have only felt this fluctuation from the dark demons. And the so-called supreme beings are the powerhouses standing at the top of the Great Thousand-World Pyramid. Eater. Soul Eater. The Earth Ape watched the dark demon's black energy dissipate instantly, and then looked away with some difficulty, looking at the illusory figure standing beside Xiao Yan, constantly releasing a mysterious power. From above, the Earth Monkey felt a real coercion from heaven and earth. Bang bang bang. The next moment, the soul power of this Earth Ape also dissipated instantly. It turns out to be the Lord of Soul Eater. Isn't this guy the Lord of Soul Eater domain? It is said that the last time he was obliterated by the Lord of Lee Soul. How could it be? The Earth Monkey in the 3rd floor couldn't help muttering, "Lord. The Ghost Son is late for the rescue. I hope the Master is not to blame." And the 2 black chi of the Dark Demon and the Earth Ape were directly shaken by the terrifying pressure of the Soul Eater, and the next moment, a dazzling soul force pierced through the protection of the layers of ice and fire islands, and directly descended into the 8th layer of space. "Ghost, you'll be fine." The Master of Soul Eater smiled slowly when he saw this touch of soul power. "This is not the place to talk. Lord, please come with me." When the ghostly soul came to the 8th floor, it was only a trace of soul power, but with the help of the ghostly soul's understanding of the ice and fire island, coupled with the sky-reaching ability of the Soul Eater, the two naturally it is easy to bypass all the guardians and come to the 1st floor of Ice and Fire Island where Ghost Son is sealed. "Senior, this." Xiao Yang couldn't help but ask when he saw that he had come to the bottom of Icefire Island so easily. "Call me Master in the future." The Soul Eater seemed to have made a decision, and then spoke slowly. "Master. Lord." But the ghostly soul who was leading the way in front of him heard the words, but his heart was shocked. His ghost son has followed the Master of Soul Eater since he was a child. It can be said without hesitation that the Lord of Soul Eater can have the position of the Lord of the current Soul Eater domain because of his talent and temperament. However, the Master of Soul Eater was extremely proud in his life. Even after several reincarnations, he only accepted 3 disciples, and those 3 disciples were accepted by the Master of Soul Eater inadvertently. How can there be such a relationship with Xiao now? A tone of discussion. "Yes, Master." Hearing this, Xiao Yang nodded secretly, but he didn't know the shock in Gloomy Soul's mind. "Lord, it's here." After a while, the 3 walked into the brightly lit passage, and in a short while they came to the door of a magnificent palace. Gloomy Soul Sun's state is a ray of soul light, and even when he got to the place where he was imprisoned, he still didn't see his main body. Wouldn't the seal originally used to imprison the 6-star fighting immortal be normal? This Master of the Soul is really a good means, and he is willing to use the 6th-order immortal weapon Genshanhei to imprison you. And the illusory figure of the Master of Soul Eaters floated in the air, looking outside the magnificent palace. The invisible force of confinement in the circle couldn't help but get angry. "Lord, don't be angry, I'm fine now. This 6th-order immortal weapon is enough to trap the 6-star fighting immortal. I was indeed tortured in the past, but with the help of its effect, for so many years, my current strength has also broken through the 5-star fighting immortal." "Speak slowly. It's so good." The Lord of Soul Eater was filled with a hint of relief when he heard this. 5-star fighting immortals? The 6th-order immortal weapon is enough to seal the 6-star fighting immortal. The strength of this ghost son has reached the 6-star fighting immortal? At this time, Xiao Yang only felt a sense of dizziness. According to Xiao Yang's guess, he originally thought that the Lord of Soul Eater was also a strong 5-star or even a 6-star fighting immortal, but this tyrannical 6-star fighting immortal was only a confidant of the Lord of Soul Eater, which made Xiao Yang to fight against the Lord of Soul Eater. The strength of the Soul Lord can't help but look forward to it. "Lord, since you disappeared back then, among the upper echelons of Soul Eater, many forces have rumored that you have fallen, trying to carve up the territory of Soul Eater's thousands of continents. And at that time, I happened to meet Master Fang Yanghao in seclusion and attack the realm. Master Hongzong has an active nature. Before your accident, he went out to travel in the 7 realms and has not returned yet. With your disappearance, the 7 courtyards that control the affairs of Soul Eater are also panicking and trying to take your place. Fortunately, Mr. Hao Enia took action in time, and the situation was stabilized. However, open and secret battles are also emerging one after another. For so many years, Lord Hao Enia has been struggling to support him alone. Yu Solzi couldn't help saying. Yang Hao is too obsessed with cultivation, and Hongzong is naturally restless. After so many years, Enia has suffered. The Soul Eater heard the words and couldn't help but said, obviously his voice was filled with a sense of guilt. After the Lord of Souls defeated you, they made a comeback not long afterward. They seemed to be looking for something in our Soul Eater domain, but in the end they didn't find it, and they attacked our Soul Eater domain again. That time, many of our Soul Eater domain were captured alive by the Master of Li Soul. I also tried my best to protect Lord Hao Enia, so I was captured and detained in Li Soul. Here. Strange to say, after the Lord of Li Hun captured us alive, he didn't mean to kill them all. Instead, he asked about the Soul Eater talisman and your whereabouts. Gloomy Soul said slightly, but in that soul power, there was a hidden concern for Li Hun. The monstrous killing intent of the Lord. Haha, these years, you have really suffered. But don't worry, this time my Soul Eater is back, so it will be the end of their Li Soul territory. What they did to our Soul Eater domain, we will repay it 10-fold and 100-fold. The Lord of Soul Eater said in a repressed voice, his anger in a low voice seemed to have already been suppressed in his heart. My subordinates are waiting for the Master's words. I believe that knowing the news of the Master's survival, the entire Soul Eater domain has become stronger. Ghost Soul said with a smile. This guy is a descendant of the Xiao clan, and I was plotted by the Master of Li Soul back then, hiding in the soul-devouring talisman to recuperate, and I got it by chance. But I always feel that when the Lord of Souls attacked our Soul Eater domain, I'm afraid it wasn't just as simple as trying to ***** my Soul Eater talisman, said the Lord of Soul Eater. By the way, Lord, your current state is. At the next moment, Gloomy Soul nodded, but remembered something, and said slowly. The current me, it should be regarded as a serious injury to my soul power, so I have lost a trace of my origin. The Lord of Soul Eater said regretfully. If that's the case, where do I need my help? Xiao Yang heard the words and interjected. After all, he is also a Fairyland soul now. Although his strength is in front of the Soul Eater and the Ghost Sun, he is like playing a family, but for resurrection I am afraid that no one is better at refining the body than himself. You kid, now you know you care about your master. The Soul Eater scolded with a smile. Hehe, Sir Xiao Yang doesn't have to be like this. The master is different from your human beings. Our ghost world creatures have been soul bodies since childhood. When our strength reaches a certain level, we can automatically cultivate human bodies. And the resurrection in our ghost world only needs to complete the power of the soul, or even complete the lost source. As for the body, it is trivial for us. Ghost Sun said. Until now, Gloomy Soul Sun carefully looked at Xiao Yang, but what made Gloomy Soul Sun strange is that although this guy's strength is only in the middle stage of 1-star fighting immortal, there is a feeling that Gloomy Soul Sun can't see through. The Xiao clan is involved too much, and I can't reveal too much to Lord Xiao Yang. Yu Soul Sun shook his head and said. After the two of them finished speaking, it was now transferred to the Master of Soul Eater. At this time, only the Master of Soul Eater was the most anxious. To supplement the power of the soul, only some simple medicinal materials are needed. Although it is rare, I will live on Xiao Yang's body next time. It is estimated that it will not be difficult to find. However, as for the source of my soul that I lost when I was burned by the power of holy flames by the Lord of Souls, there is nothing that can't be restored. Lord of Soul Eater said with a scheming look. What? Xiao Yang and Yu Hunzi said at the same time. Xiao Yang came to the ghost world for the sole purpose of the Master of Soul Eater. As long as the matter of the Master of Soul Eater is resolved, then Xiao Yang will go back to Do Di Sifong continent, continue to look for Zuna and resolve Xiao Yang's century-old contract as soon as possible. Even Xiao clan secrets. 7 Crossing the Soul Cup. The Lord of Soul Eater opened his mouth slightly. What? Chiju-inducing Soul Cup? And as the understatement of Soul Eater's voice just fell, Gloomy Soul Child's face couldn't help but turn ugly. If it is other things, then the Ghost Sun naturally has a lot of ways, but for this thing, I am afraid there is really no way. The Chiju Yin Hunzhen is almost the treasure of Li Soul territory. It is placed in the hands of the 4 major academies that control the entire Li Sol territory under the Master of Li Sol. Even if the Lord of Li Sol wants to use it, I am afraid that it must be approved by the 4 great courts, and the efficacy of this thing, I am afraid that no one except the Lord of Li Sol knows. But those 4 courtyards are the very top forces under Li Sol territory. Even if it is my 6-star Doze Yan's strength, I am afraid there will be no return. Ghostly Soul's face was not very good looking, and he said word by word. Haha, it's great to have a goal. And for me, if I want to return to the peak, it must be this thing, because I have seen a detailed record about the Chiju Diversion Soul Cup from an ancient book. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Lord, leave this matter to me. Ghost Soul pondered for a while, and then said. Forget it, leave this to me. As the top forces in Li Sol domain, the 4 courtyards are bound to be heavily defended, and it is definitely not possible to come here clearly. Now the ratio of eastern continents is imminent. If you win the ratio of eastern continents, you can go to the ratio of 4 continents. If you win the ratio of 4 continents, you have the opportunity to enter the 4 great courts. Xiao Yan said with a smile. This way, is it really possible? But the ghostly soul's eyes floated uncertainly. Trust him, this little guy has brought me a lot of surprises. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Master, I won't go with you this time. In order to prevent Li Sol Territory's senior management from discovering your trace, as soon as you leave Icefire Island, I will lift the seal and return to soul-devouring territory, so as to contact Master Hao Enaya. After Master Xiao Yang successfully joined the 4th Academy, carry out the plan to the Chiju Diversion Soul Cup. When the time comes to take away the Chiju-inducing Soul Cup and help the Master recover his strength, it will be time to settle accounts with Li Huanyu. Yu Soul's son spoke slowly, his voice full of joy. But before planning, let's mention the strength of this little guy. The next moment, the Master of Soul Eater smiled. There seems to be some familiar fluctuations on him. Hearing this, Gloomy Soul also smiled slowly. The next moment, Xiao Yang heard the words, and he no longer hesitated, and directly took out the dragon blood crystal from the ground. Earth Dragon Blood Crystal? Seeing this, Gloomy Soul couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise. He is very clear about the value of this thing, but the people in the ghost world are disordered, and because of the soul body, most of them are not suitable for using Earth Dragon blood crystals for body forging. There should be a place suitable for the volatilization of dragon blood crystals in this island of ice and fire, right? The Soul Eater said slightly. Master, yes. The ghost heard the words, and then said slowly. You take him there. Take him to the blood pond and come back. You and I still have some things to negotiate. The Soul Eater said with a smile. The disciple has thanked the master. Seeing this, Xiao Yang also directly bowed his hands and gave a big gift to the Master of Soul Eater. Without guessing, Xiao Yang knew that after the dragon blood crystal forged his body, he was obviously going to practice the 9 transformations of the dragon god. If the Master of Soul Eater was on the side, it would inevitably be leaked. Although Xiao Yang did not think that the Master of Soul Eater was such a person, but the action of the Soul Eater made Xiao Yang quite grateful. After all, no matter what, on the one hand, my uncle taught me the treasures of the Dragon Clan, and on the other hand, I was the master of the Soul Eater who protected him. In this case, it was a good way to avoid suspicion, otherwise such trivial matters would be swayed by those of the Dragon Clan in the future. Yu Huai's old antique knew that it was undoubtedly another headache. Okay, let's go. I just happen to have some things about Soul Eater domain that I want to instruct Ghost Sun. The Soul Eater Lord smiled. En. Ghost Soul nodded slowly, and then that touch of soul power directly wrapped Xiao Yang, and then turned into a stream of light, heading towards the outer layer of Icefire Island. The 5th floor of Ice and Fire Island. This is. And even if the ghostly soul is a trace of soul power, it instantly avoided the perception of the other guardians and easily came to the 5th floor. After arriving on the 5th floor, Xiao Yang suddenly discovered that there was an incomparably huge pool in front of it. The pool is oval in shape, and the seemingly transparent pool water slowly exudes a mysterious mist, which is quite mysterious. I've already set up the barrier, and the barrier time is long enough for you to absorb the dragon blood crystals and other things. When the handover between me and the master is over, the master will come over, and the master will always be attached to your body until you successfully enter the 4 courtyards of Li Huanyu. Ghost Soul said. Senior, don't worry, this junior will naturally try his best. Xiao Yang nodded slowly after hearing this. I'm still very relieved about the master's vision. But you should try not to reveal the identity of your Xiao clan. Because I have been imprisoned for all these years, This guy from Li Huanyu and the center of the human world are very close, and there is always a premonition that it is not good for your Xiao family. Gloomy Soul Sun shook his head and said, without stopping, directly returning to the first layer for a stream of light. Dragon God 9 transformations, Earth Dragon Blood Crystal, Fighting Soul. This time, I must become stronger, and being said by Nether Soul Sun, Xiao Yang's determination to become stronger became stronger and stronger. How are things going? Ghost Soul had just returned to the first floor of the prison, and suddenly the phantom of the Soul Eater Lord slowly stood on the Soul Eater talisman, and then asked Ghost Soul, Lord Xiao Yang has settled down. I believe that with the Earth Dragon's blood crystals and blood ponds, they will definitely be reborn in the near future. Ghostly Soul said with a smile. It's so good. The Soul Eater also said with a gratified smile. Lord, there is a question that I haven't quite understood. The next moment, looking at the Soul Eater who was in a somewhat happy mood, Gloomy Soul said softly, as if he was afraid of disturbing the leisure and elegance of the Soul Eater. What's the matter, tell me? The Soul Eater asked when he heard the words. Why did the Xiao clan mysteriously disappear overnight? Even the vassal race behind it was wiped out overnight. Ghostly Soul asked in a low voice. What is the existence of the Xiao clan? The Xiao clan was the top 5 transcendental forces in the entire human world before, and even with the countless vassal races behind it, their strength was unfathomable. But even the tyrannical Xiao clan disappeared mysteriously on the night just after the First World War. Even the countless vassal races behind him disappeared along with him, and with all these, many humans speculated that the Xiao clan was mutinous. Could it be that, as some human beings thought, their battle with the aliens was just to fool humans? After defeating the aliens, they went to the aliens overnight with all the vassal forces behind them. This is enough to explain the strangeness of the Xiao family. Reason for disappearance. But if this is the case, then why did the Xiao clan go to great lengths to fight with the foreign evil clan? With the strength of the Xiao clan, if they partnered with the foreign evil clan, I am afraid it would be a real disaster in the world. However, Gloomy Soul Sun obviously won't believe this kind of statement. After all, no matter what, the Xiao clan's hatred for the foreign evil clan during the war between the heavens and the earth, and all the power they used to deal with the foreign evil clan, and so on, it was enough to show that the Xiao clan could not defect to them at all. And if the Xiao clan would not go to the evil clan outside the realm, why would they disappear in a single night? You must know that the power of the Xiao clan alone is enough to equal half of their Soul Eater domain, or even the top combat power. Soul Eater domain cannot compare with the Xiao clan. In the battle of heaven and earth, the spirit of the Xiao clan, who are not afraid of death, is always at the forefront of the battle, almost resisting the most tyrannical enemy, killing countless foreign evil clans, and at the same time suffering heavy losses, but they did so. Xiao clan, why did they disappear? Moreover, the Xiao clan had just disappeared, and the strong people in the center of the human world also stood up to spread rumors, which made the Ghostly Soul a little puzzled. The center of the human world is probably more or less related to the disappearance of the Xiao clan, but there is no conclusive evidence, and no one dares to say it. This matter, not only you are puzzled, but even many of us are puzzled. The Xiao family's power is too huge. If they want to annex them overnight, I am afraid that only the centers of all circles in the 7 worlds can do this. After all, at the center of each world, there are countless overlords of that world. The Soul Eater shook his head and said, As for the vassal races you mentioned disappearing, I'm afraid it's not that simple, said Soul Eater Zaidu. Xiao clan, it's really a pity, when their Xiao clan's fighting was in the war between heaven and earth, in order to deal with the real king of the foreign evil clan, he almost fell. The Xiao family paid so much for Dacian world, but ended up disappearing in a mysterious and strange way. Really? Ghostly Soul's soul power slowly exuded a trace of regret. Hey, although the Xiao clan has fallen, and many forces have vaguely guessed that the disappearance of the Xiao clan is probably secretly planned by some supreme beings in the 7 realms. But if Xiao Yang grows up, these things are just floating clouds. Although there are many forces that hate the Xiao clan's hospitable and simple character allows them to have more allies than we imagined in the vast world. Once Xiao Yang grows up, summon those allies, and then the time comes. In this vast world, I am afraid there will be a very exciting scene. And at that time, I'm afraid it will be the real time to solve the secret of the disappearance of the Xiao clan. The Soul Eater said with a smile. However, although the Xiao clan was completely wiped out and disappeared, the guardian who guarded the Xiao clan remained. They seem to know something. Ghostly Soul said with a slow smile. I remember that the guardian of the Xiao family has been moving, and he has no fixed place, as if he is avoiding someone's pursuit. There was a strange fluctuation in the eyes of the Lord of Soul Eater, and he said slowly, "By the way, Yama of the 10th Palace has not disappeared. They are obviously seriously injured and are now recuperating in Xiao Yang's body." The Lord of Soul Eater spoke up. "What? 10 Temple Yama?" When the Master of Soul Eater said so, Yu Soul Child couldn't help but be surprised. The 10 Temple Yama, this is the most noble power of the guardian lineage of the Xiao clan. Yama of the 10 halls is impressively 10 strong men. The prestige of these 10 powerhouses, even the ghost sons, is still vivid in his mind. In the war between heaven and earth, Yama of the 10 temples has been following the Xiao clan, killing countless foreign evil clans. Among the 10 hall Yamas, there are many who are weaker than themselves, and some are more powerful than themselves, but among the 10 hall Yamas, the strongest will not surpass the Soul Eater Lord. After all, 10 hall Yamas are only the guardians of the Xiao clan. And the Lord of Soul Eater is the true supreme of the 3 domains of the ghost world. The strength of Yama of the 10 halls should not be underestimated. Even in my peak period, there is not much chance of winning against 10 of them at the same time. This time, I will go to the main domain of Li Soul Domain, and I will try to wake up the 10th Palace Yang Luo, just to ask about the secret of the disappearance of the Xiao clan. Although I don't know the Xiao family very well, the courage shown by the Xiao family to deal with the evil people outside the territory and the quality shown by this little guy Xiao Yang now make me quite fond of this family. The Lord of Soul Eater said with a smile. "Everything is up to the Lord." Hearing the words, Ghost Soul said slowly and solemnly, "The matter of the Xiao family is like this. First, you take this Soul Eater talisman and go look for Ni. I believe she will understand what you said after seeing the Soul Eater talisman. And with the blessing of the Soul Eater talisman, if you want to break through this seal, it's a matter of course." After the Lord of Soul Eater finished, the Soul Eater talisman was directly cut off by him, and then went to the soul of the ghost son. "Lord, this thing is yours." Seeing this, the ghostly soul child was hurriedly shocked. "Lord of Soul Eater talisman. If there is no Soul Eater talisman, how can it be called the Lord of Soul Eater? Don't worry, with this guy Xiao Yang, I don't need to take action for the time being." The Soul Eater said, "Zaidu. My subordinates obey." Hearing the words, Ghost Soul did not refuse, and carefully put the Soul Eater talisman into his body. "Next, let's wait for this little guy to successfully exit the customs." The Soul Eater Lord lowered his voice slightly, his eyes seemed to penetrate the restraints of space, and he slowly saw where Xiao Yang was in the distance. This video will end here.